Hey, what's good, everyone? Welcome to another reading. A beautiful sunny day today. Perfect day to be doing a love reading. Not much of an introduction needed, just one of my love updates if you like. Pile number 1, pile number 2, and pile number 3. Feel free to pause the video and we'll get stuck in with pile number 1s. Pile number 1's love reading. Just sitting on the energy. Angle. What do you see? What do you feel? Pile number 1's. It's your reading. Hopefully we are centered. There was a sense of patience with this reading. Sense of patience, sense of like, yeah, kind of taking things slow, but it wasn't really in a, for all my Tauruses out there, you probably heard my analogies. If you've been tuned into the channel from the start, I always refer to Taurus as some of that slower energy. It's because I've had some pretty good relationships with Tauruses, or maybe just like impactful, if that's long term or short term. So I've got to understand the energy quite well. And this is one thing that Tauruses are good at, is patience and taking things slow. And that isn't in a negative way, you know, just slow through creating stability. Now, this isn't really slow like a Taurus. This is more like slow, like, you could say like meditation, but more so than meditation, it's more like the slowness of yeah, you could almost say Pisces, a little bit dreamerish. I know the illustration points us towards like Aquarius energy with a star, but could say, yeah, a little bit Piscean. So this kind of energy reminds me of kind of just like almost swimming slowly. It could be like swimming slowly to the dream. The masculine energy here was a lot more like staggered, but it kind of worked out in the end, you know. So it's like there's something about the masculine energy which is a little bit like uh you know, like almost like jittery. That might be in the creativity or the way they speak or the way they do things, but it is controlled. They know what they're doing, you know. The feminine energy, I was just getting kind of calmness from the feminine. Another thing that was quite interesting is, you know, these like mistakes, if you like. There was one here and two here, like these three mistakes, but they kind of give the illustration a bit more life. Um, these two bits here, they actually remind me of I've only got this as an example here on it's like a little bag that the tuning fork came in, but you see these like tassels that you get on, I think they're called like Parker coats. That's what that reminds me of, you know, like those little dangling tassels. So I don't know how you make that into a metaphor, pal number ones. That might just be a confirmation for you, like you might have just got a jacket with that on it. That might give you some confirmation, and trust me, that is confirmation because I don't have a jacket, any jackets with that detail on it. So um, that was something that was coming through. But yeah, I'm not gonna milk it, pile number ones. This seems to be a reading on. There's a calmness in this relationship. It seems very positive. They're both looking towards the same star. So this is a couple which um, have the same dream, or at least they've crafted the same dream together, both looking at it, and it feels to me like they're just navigating through this dream slowly in a very Piscean way. So you could both be quite spiritual. You could both be. I feel like both of these characters are calm. So if you look at yourselves and go, "We're not calm at all," at least you're in a calm phase of the relationship while watching this. But yeah, there's a calmness here. It does remind me a little bit of, you know, like the story of baby Jesus with the star and the wise men following the star. Now, this isn't to do with you being the wise men following the star. It could be, but it's more touching on the energy of that day. Whenever that day is, or that evening or night is depicted, there's almost like a little bit of an airiness um, to the baby Jesus scene, you know. I don't know if you feel me with this pile number ones, but it's almost like things are in slow motion or paused or just kind of somehow quiet, even though with those all those people around the baby. It could just be the way that it's depicted all the time, you know, because it's always in a still setting. It's always like some kind of model, you know, some handmade model or some kind of illustration that it's kind of like I'm paused, you know, like there's kind of like a pause. I might have lost some of you here, but some of you are gonna understand exactly what I mean. You know that there's that setting of just the little baby Jesus in the cot, and it's almost like a freeze frame energy. And if you was to put yourself into that moment, it feels like everything would be kind of still somehow. That's kind of the energy that I was trying to get at here, but I was struggling. I was struggling to explain it. That's what's kind of coming through here. So, pile number ones, I hope you was able to get something from the reading. If you did, please do remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Check out the If You Pause website, ifyoupause.com, and I'll see you in the next reading. Take care. Okay, pile number twos. Remember, all these love readings are for singles, daters, and what's the people in some form of secure relationship, long-term relationship. Just sitting on the energy here. It's the second time this masculine energy. You might have resonated with pile number ones. Just seeing if Spirit wants to give me anything here. I'm getting like possibly like a tie. Or even like a scarf. Do this in black. A scarf might be significant to this masculine energy. Yes, I think that might be a clue. It's funny, this hairstyle that's come through, it reminds me of like Stranger Things, whatever time period that is. I'm not sure if it's 80s or 90s, probably 80s, could be further back. Shout at me, pile number twos, if I'm wrong with that. Tell me what time period that is. But yeah, it reminds me almost Stranger Things type time period. It's almost like the curly perm. So that might be significant here. The feminine and masculine energy. Apply that how it fits. I think there's some form of like offering here, isn't there? Could be like, simply it could be like an offering of a relationship. So you might be getting into some form of committed relationship, pile twos. Or just some form of commitment. I felt like almost this could be a little bit businessy. One could say that that marriages are a kind of business contract. I know that's going to make some people vomit, but at least nowadays, I personally don't think marriages are business relationships, but I think how they're currently set up, they are. So I think marriages are like pretty much 100% spiritual bonds. But I just mean if you were to do things the traditional way, where you sign that agreement, I think they're business. I think they're business agreements, basically. So that's just something to bear in mind. Pile number two is you might sit on that. You might sit in that energy. You might be like a guy watching this and agree with me. Probably not so much. The feminine energy won't agree with that. But everyone's different, so no judgment here. I would say that the feminine energy here, she does seem like, to me, and obviously it's not gender specific, none of these readings ever are, so just insert the word that fits. She seems to be thinking with this offer. So let's say if this was a marriage proposal, it doesn't really have that energy, but it could be. It could be the moment before, like, he was to get down on the knee, the pause moment. Yeah, it could be. Could be. Now that I'm looking at it, it could be. She could be in shock, not thinking. So it could be that too. But let's just roll with that for a little bit. It feels to me like this character here, at least at this moment, is possibly thinking. She could be in shock too. I'm not saying that she's not. So there seems to be, like, what we can do here is, because I like sometimes how these readings come through a lot with the love readings. In fact, it's like I get this snapshot. It's really interesting because it's different to my other readings. My other readings sometimes do come through this way, but these love readings are interesting because they're literally like little, like, peeps into this relationship. I guess that's, in a weird way, that's why you have to be careful with spirituality as a whole, because you can start seeing how people can use this kind of skill and tool for negativity. Like, no idea why people would want to do that. You must be full of bitterness to want to do that. But when you actually tap into this energy truthfully and honestly and get good at it, you start to really realize how powerful it is as a tool, and how so many other people aren't tapping into it, and how much of an advantage you have through doing this. So point number two is that might just be a little bit of something that you want to may need to hear right now. You may need to sharpen your skills in doing this. But more importantly, one of the cool things that Spirit gives me the ability to do with some of these readings is, so I get this snapshot, this picture, and I can kind of, to an extent, like, rewind it and fast forward it a little bit too, Now, it obviously gets very difficult to do this because it's a collective reading, so there's many different energies coming through. But generally, like, you can you can get the vibe. You can get the vibe. And then it's a little bit like, let's say if this reading was for 2 people, it's for way more people than that, but let's just say it's for 2 people. Let's say person 1 is, let's just say the aura blue, or the spirit blue, and then the other person is the spirit red in terms of color. I can give the message in purple, which feeds the blue and the red energy, you know? And then if I realize that the red's message isn't very impactful or important, just let them do their thing, I can just focus it onto the blue's message. And that's probably where the red zones out for a little bit and it doesn't resonate, and then it comes back into purple, or this is really difficult to explain, but I hope some of you kind of have the spiritual maturity to hang on to what I'm trying to say or understand what I'm trying to say. So with all that said, I feel like pole number 2's, to rewind this, it's like I'm getting the energy to explain to you that at least the feminine here, why I'm using the word that she's been thinking is because actually Spirit's giving me that energy in the past. So I feel the vibration of the before moment before we got to this moment, if that makes sense. So I explained, hopefully, all the things that are happening in these readings before you get the words to explain what's happening. I feel that Pole 2's, the feminine here, has been kind of analysing. It's like they've been sussing out this masculine energy, and it's brought us to this point where this thing has actually happened. It could be that this is expressing also the end of the thinking. So it could express like in real simple terms, it would be you guys are dating and the feminine is eyeing up the masculine, like, does he actually like me, or is this something casual? Does he like me deeply, or is it something casual? And in this moment, it's almost like the thought is coming to an end, because whatever that thing is, whatever that example is, does he like my haircut or does he not like my haircut? This is the moment where the masculine goes, I really fuck with your haircut. So sexy on you. So that moment of the feminine thinking is, it's like, it's okay. That thought is over, It's the snapshot before the thinking almost comes to an end. There's some form of confirmation given in this moment. So, pole number 2's, if you're the masculine in this reading, sorry, because it wasn't really much about you here, but we do have confirmation. In the time of putting this out, I'm not sure that the scarf probably isn't something that you're going to be wearing. So it could be like a winter scarf, or just kind of think about what scarves represent as well. Like tune into that. I feel for some of you, it's just some form of confirmation. I don't know, you could be somewhere cold when watching this. You could be protecting your throat chakra, because it's something that goes around the neck. Like I said, it could be almost like, one of those summer light scarves, those linen scarves or something like that. But yeah, for my masculines watching this was more just to give you an understanding of the current situation. Probably to let you know how the feminine feels in this situation. And hopefully as well, like if you're fellow channelers or into spirituality, hopefully you maybe got something from the technique that I was trying to explain to you. Maybe that's something that you can try and practice yourself if you're not doing it already. How do you channel and then also tap into the energy before and after? Because as they say, time is just an illusion. So that should be something that the ones who are willing to test themselves and evolve into that energy, that should be something that we should be able to do as humans, you know? So just to end as well, like Spirit just gave me this just before we ended the reading. That is very much something that we do through not just our intuition, but through our instincts as well, you know? Just think about when an animal is about to get attacked. There's something that happens there where it predicts the time it happening before it happens. That's just fact. So for anyone who's a little bit lost by that as a concept, just think about that really. Think about watching two birds in a tree and think about the bird that has its back to the other bird but flies away because it feels it coming. There's something that happens there which you can't logically explain, at least not yet. The physical eyes literally could not see it. And you could say that the other bird carries an aura or blah, blah, blah. But there's something to do with also time there as well, isn't there? There's something in us that kind of can predict. And I guess memory, in its simple sense, is absolute proof that we can go back in time as well. Maybe not to physically live it, but like that's what a memory is. it's a collection of the past. But anyways, I'm gonna leave you there, part number 2. Just something to dwell on, something to think about. I'll see you in the next reading. Please do remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Check out the If You Pause website, ifyoupause.com, and I'll see you in the next reading. Take care. Part number 3. Let's have a water break. That gulp was probably way too deep for this, probably way too loud, so it's not that loud in real life. I've just got to say that the way that the mic picks up these readings sometimes is insane. It's like literally every single detail. Okay. It's a cool reading, actually. I like that. One interesting point is just check that we're in center. I can't actually move it much further down, but it's somewhat in the center. I drew it a little bit too high on the page. Pile number 3 is. So I can't really show you much more about it. Just showing you desk or table. One little thing to mention here is, at least in the other readings, I drew the masculine on the left side and the feminine on the right side. And here I'd say this is the masculine and this is the feminine. Something to just bear in mind there. There might be something playing on the masculine and feminine energy. This might be one of those rare cases where it's flipped around, for example, where you might be the feminine more in your masculine and the masculine more in the feminine. This could be to do with genders or sexual preference and stuff like that, because there's definitely an energy there coming through. I personally don't think that matters, or who cares, basically. But just something to note there for people, because that did come through. It was very obvious in the way that it came through when I was illustrating it. So yeah, there's this couple watering this tree. It's funny because they could almost be, I know this is a bit of a weird thing to say, but they could almost be like peeing on this same tree. There's something like, there's some form of like bonding happening. And I don't know why like I'm getting that example of like the peeing on the tree, because I don't know, it's somewhat like there's something a little bit humorous about it, you know, like I don't know, there's something humorous about that. It's like when I'm thinking about it, it's almost like, god damn, you could have picked a different tree. Like, if you both needed to pee at the same time, my Virgo moon be like, you have to pick the same tree. Like, you guys are really in love. You really love love. Like, you want to hold hands while you peeing too. Like, shit. Part number 3 is, yeah, there's something really, you could say like cute about this couple. I'm laughing so much because the energy doesn't, I'm not laughing at you, part number 3, it's just the energy, it doesn't necessarily resonate with me so much. So I find it funny because I'm imagining myself in that position. I can't see it, but it's making me laugh. But it's cute. Like, I'm not judging no one here. It's really look. All I can say, look, part number 3 is you're getting the last laugh, because this is that type of, I don't know if you want to say, it's like it's that kind of love that you can't unseparate. It's the kind of like get a room type of love. You know, it's the type of love where essentially, you know, you could almost argue that it invokes a slight bit of almost jealousy in people, because they know that the love that they've got isn't like that. You know, so even me laughing, it's like there's, you know, everything has got a good and bad, right? So like, I'm using the word jealousy on purpose, because even jealousy, there's a good type of jealousy and a bad type of jealousy. Like a good bit of jealousy, like a little bit of good jealousy is like me laughing at this example, right? And remember, these two aren't peeing on the same tree. They are actually just watering the tree, which is very healthy, and it's very, it's a very nice image. So I'm just saying the other end of this though is a very almost clingy couple. And I just want to give you an example there of like expressing my truth. Like how I felt that as an energy, and what made me laugh was, so yeah, for one, I kind of expressed it. It was like it was a it was a bit out of character for me. But how there can be good bits of jealousy, because it's like maybe there was you know a 0.2 or 2% bit of jealousy there. That, why aren't I vulnerable enough to be like that in a couple? And this is why it's good jealousy, because at least for me in my mind, I was like, fuck it. Like, that little bit of jealousy I'm going to use as saying, do you know what? Like, fuck it. If I feel like that with someone, I'm going to be doing that too. Now, this is bad jealousy. Bad jealousy is, why can't I do that? And I'm going to hate on that couple now because I don't have that. I'm going to not just laugh at the situation, but laugh at them. I'm going to make them feel out of place for being like that. Do you understand? It's like that jealousy, which people see as a negative thing, that can be used to fuel betterness in you. And that can be used to fuel bitterness in someone else. So I feel like pole number 3 is, for one, this is just a warning, really, to say that the type of love that this couple has is the type of love that will make other people jealous. So be aware of that. This couple here is 100%, they are nurturing, and the word that's coming through is not just nurturing, but nutrition. It's like they're applying nutrition to this tree. This tree could almost represent like your family tree, your, just the thing you're growing. It's very metaphoric, it's very quite clear to see. It's like you were growing something beautiful. And they've got these little watering cans in their hand. Pole number 3 is, I would just say that it gives me the energy, because nutrition keeps coming through. It's like these watering cans aren't just filled with water, they've actually filled with like organic fertilizer in that water too. That tree is not just getting chemical tap water. This is like liquid gold you guys are pouring onto this tree. So obviously, when someone's walking by and seeing you pouring this liquid gold on your tree, and that tree is looking healthy, it reminds me of like the Bible verse of like, tell a man by his fruits, or something like that. When they're walking by and seeing this beautiful tree, healthy, and then they're actually seeing you nurturing it and pouring this goodness into it, of course that's going to cause some reactions. Of course it's going to cause some reactions. And like I said, like, some people can use that to better themselves, and actually give you some encouragement. And some people are going to use that to be nasty. So I think that's just something that you should be aware of, pole number 3s. And I think that goes for both the masculine and feminine here. I don't think there's much need to separate the two energies. I think you two are vibing right now. If you are single and watching this, this is a future relationship coming in. If you're dating, this is maybe a new partner or a partnership which is going to flourish. And obviously, if you're in a relationship, it's basically just showing what's going on or the future. So pole number 3 is, like I said, like, laughter aside, I am rooting for you, because these types of relationships are the examples. They are the ones that, once you overcome the stones which are thrown at you, this is the type of relationship which people start to admire, and maybe idolize isn't the right word, but it's like, you'll have those stories where, you know, let's say, for example, people will call you a power couple in the future. You'll have the stories between just you two where you were able to go, oh, do you remember when they used to insert? Do you remember when they used to say this? Insert. Do you remember when they used to treat us like this? Insert. So, yeah, pile number 3s. Thank you for being here. Thank you for tuning in. If you liked the video, please do remember to like, comment, and subscribe. And, oh yeah, obviously check out the If You Pause website, ifyoupause.com. I do have a video available on romance on the If You Pause website, so check that out. And for now, I'll see you in the next read, and take care.